Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to this Thursday, the 2nd of July, 2026 live trading session. Yours truly, Mandela. And we're gonna just do some deep breathing, get ourselves in a good place. Want to make sure that we are calm, carefree, and we are ready to lock in. As my son says, you got to lock in, Dad. You got to lock in. That's what we're going to be doing today. That's exactly what we're going to be doing. So we'll have a look at some of the data. There was some employment data out of the U.S. And let's have a look at that first. So the employment data came out about just about an hour ago, and it would have been the non-farm payrolls here. So this was the sort of headline data point. Expectation was for 114,000 new jobs. Actually came out about half that at 57,000. So lower jobs means less probability of the Federal Reserve increasing the federal funds interest rate. So that is usually good for stocks. And so that's the rationale. That's the thinking. Also, we have the unemployment rate coming down a little bit from 4.3% previously, and the 4.3% that was expected. So that 4.2 unemployment rate is going to be one that I think is going to be good. That's a good sign. And then finally, initial jobless claims is also tracked very closely. Expectation for 219,000 persons applying for what they call jobless insurance, or their first time becoming unemployed or claiming unemployment insurance. And instead of 219,000, it was 215,000. So overall, fairly good data out of the U.S. Now, today is the final day of the week. I'll probably say that a few times, but we are watching for the open, and we have approximately 1 minute left on the clock before we get that opening bell. This is the Asian session. So we finished off yesterday here. We could zoom out a little bit, give you a little bit more of a narrative. So started Tuesday here. So started Tuesday here, went up, and then started Wednesday here, went up again, came back down into the close, and then this has been the overnight session, or the Asian session, into the European session. We hit that nice little high, close to the highs that we got on Wednesday in the pre-market, and now we've come off of that just a little bit. So we're going to switch over to the S&P chart, and we're going to get ready for the opening bell. So all the best, everybody. Here we go. All right, let's take some deep breaths. Let's get ready for the open. All the best. Nothing but success today. If there's an opportunity, we will take that opportunity. All right, we've gotten the open. And we are ready to go. All the best, everybody. If you're trading today, let me know. If you are in the live chat, I'll do my best to pop over and respond. I'm going to take down my camera because you all know what I look like, and I want to give the full screen to the action that we're watching. Okay, let's get the music back on. There we go. Okay, so first things first, We've gotten the opening print. Looks like we're getting some strength after that non-farm payrolls. Tends to be, I would say, one of the biggest news points, at least one of the biggest scheduled news points. Recently, it hasn't really been impacting prices, but today it could be. So first things first, we're going to set up our opening range. I do have a few tools to do this automatically now. So special thanks to Gilly, and also special thanks to Travis for giving me some tools. But you know what? I'm old school. I like doing it my way. I think it's also something to do with the habit of doing it myself. And if I'm being completely honest, I think there's some little bit of superstition involved as well. On some of the best trading days that I've had, I've done the opening range myself, so I like to kind of keep it consistent. So getting a nice little lift here. We're still within the first 2 minutes of the day, so anything can really happen. But definitely looking at leaning to the upside in the first minute. We like to wait at least for the first 5 minutes. The reason for that is you can get a lot of false signals, a lot of not good false moves, head fakes, wipeouts, and so I would rather kind of hold off a little bit here and just see if we get an actual sustained move. All right, gonna put on a little bit of music and have a quick peek in the live chat. Yeah, there we go. Lock in. That's what I'm talking about. All right, now this is work. This is serious. If you are watching from work, please do not get yourself in trouble. One rule that I have is do not trade while distracted. So if you're going to tick that box which says that you are trading while you are distracted, please just think about it. Think again. All right. So market is moving and grooving here. Ideally, we'd like to see if we can pause here for a little bit. That will give us an opportunity to actually get into the position. And then from that point, we'd like to see the move continue to the upside. The issue here is that our rules say we have to wait for the first 5 minutes. And as of this second, we still have 1 minute left on the clock. So we haven't actually had the 5 minutes elapse yet. And we're going to follow the rules. One good thing about the live trading is that I'm even more inclined to follow the rules. Keeps me disciplined, keeps me on my toes. So for anybody who's trading at home, following along at home, we'll have a look at some of the other stock-specific stuff. I know a lot of people like to look at individual stocks and different sectors, probably ETFs and stuff. But for our focus, if we can make 2, 3, 4 grand off the S&P in the first hour, I'll take 2, 3, 4 grand any day. So first minute high was, here we go. First minute high was 75.0828. That's 05.0828. There we go. The other thing this does is it stops me from chasing. It stops me from over trading, which I need. You need to know yourself. You need to know your strengths, and you need to know your weaknesses. So by doing this, I don't even have my finger on the trigger. I'm not trying to chase this move. We've just had the first 5 minutes elapse here. And so the high of the opening range is going to be there. We'll move this text to the top just to move it out the way. And then if we get a breakout above the opening range high, which is going to be 75.15, spot 52, then we will take that trade. We'll definitely look to take that trade right there. Another thing we added to the analysis is also to look at the volume. So is there volume with the move? Usually, if there is volume, probabilities are higher that it's actually going to be a sustained move. Okay, so low here is 95.14. 95.14. And if you're seeing this for the first time, welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us today. We have these live sessions we do each and every week. And if you'd like to get more of them, just have a look in the description to this video. We'll be happy to kind of bring you on board, let you know what's guaning. So upside targets here. Previous day's high is coming in at 75, what's that? 75.21. That happens to be also the high that we reached after non-farm payrolls, 75.21. And if you don't believe me, we can just look left, and that would have been the high there from yesterday. Let's move that over a smidgen. There we go. Okay, so we're getting some movement outside the opening range. I'd like to see if we can close there. If we can stay there, then I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna actually go for it. Upside targets would be yesterday's high, bang. Overnight high, pretty much the same. And then last week's high, and then the weekly expected high up there. That's kind of, those are the stops on this up train. Nice solid move so far. I'm liking that. Let me just make sure I've locked this in. And the high of the first 5 minutes is 15.28. So it's 15.52. There we go, 15.52. And sometimes things can change, you know, just because we're above the opening range doesn't mean that we have to continue above the opening range. Yes, that's what the rules say. The rules say to trend follow and follow the move if it continues. But you have to be able to pivot. And we say strong opinions loosely held. You cannot become married to a direction or married to a side, and I think that's where most people get their trouble. Their big losses start when they're married to that position and they become almost stuck on stupid. Really, it doesn't feel like stupid. It just feels like you're stuck on long positions. And so sometimes you have to kind of give it some time, give it an ability to breathe, give it an opportunity to work itself out. Sometimes I find what it does on the top side of the opening range, oftentimes it will try to do on the bottom side of the opening range. That's a very sort of common trend, common pattern that we've seen. And just like I said, just be willing to be flexible. We're like a trained mercenary guerrilla. It doesn't matter who's paying. There's no loyalty in this instance. We are going to go with the upside if we break higher, and we're going to go with the downside if we break lower. I wouldn't suggest applying that to relationships and other aspects of life, but for trading, it's probably one of the best tools that you can have, the ability to switch. So first move was above. We got a nice little attempt above the opening range, and we've come back in. This is the 5 minute opening range. For those of you who trade the 15-minute opening range, your high is going to be here at 75.19. And this is also the cash. So we're looking at the SPX, ticker Sierra Papa X-Ray, provided by the Chicago Board of Exchange, CBOE. So if you are trading futures price is going to look a little different. You'll have your futures values, but the principle still applies. You're still looking at your opening range from either your 1 minute opening range or your 5 minute opening range. I can just eyeball it here. If we want to just try and eyeball it, we can do. So for anybody trading futures, we got the first minute here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's more or less your opening range for futures. So 75.67 spot 75, and then on the downside 75.51 spot 50. It looks like we're going to get another test here towards the what we call the overnight high and the yesterday's high, previous day's high. Now looks like a break and a retest. So the first one was what I call a head fake. For those of you who play sports, head fake usually gets the rookies, and the rookies fall for it each and every time. And then second one here, it looks like we might get a new high of day. Let's see. Let's see if we can continue moving higher here. I don't want to look away. because if I look away, I'm going to miss the trade. So I'm going to keep it here. You know what? Let's put an alert. I'll get an alert at the high of the day. I think looking like we're staying above the opening range here. It's a nice day to trade, actually. Looks like a nice day to trade for us today. Okay. Anyway, let's take this off. Beautiful, beautiful move. Okay, we took the alert off. Nicely done. So we'll make this green. And so right now we're looking at calls, basically. So we're looking at call options. We trade options on SPX. And right now we are on the hunt for call options. Beautiful. Nice little move to the upside here. Target, next target, I should say, is last week's high. If you want to see where that came in, last week's high was hit right here. Hit on Monday, 22nd of June, right after the open. And that's coming in at 75.30, spot 01. Okay, so let's see if we can hold up here. We still haven't, like the 15-minute opening range traders haven't gotten in yet because we haven't had the 15 minutes elapse on the day. For anybody who's wondering, this is Atlantic time, aka the time in sunny, beautiful, Bermuda. For those of you in NYC, it's 9:42, and over here in London, it's 2:42. So still another 3 minutes before the 15-minute opening range traders get active. I've just deleted this because we've shot through it so quickly. This is a nice move. This is what we like to trade. When it's easy, we like to try and take the easy breakout. I know a lot of people probably got caught with their pants down. Maybe the stops were too close on the first attempt. But we're moving and grooving here. We're looking to take out, I guess, the next high. We can zoom out even further. Let's see where else we're headed. So we have the May close. So we would basically be targeting the May close if we get above this weekly expected move high. And this is great stuff. Let's look at the volume. Here we go. Volume. Okay, so volume. We use SPY, Sierra Papa Yankee, which is the Spiders version, Spiders ETF. So yeah, we're getting some volume here as we're breaking out. Increased volume. We're not quite at the average volume, but we're definitely getting some nice follow through here. That's good to see. Let's look at some correlations because I know not everybody trades S&P. I know. I see your messages. We'll look at some other stuff. So this is ES going back towards the opening price for June. NASDAQ, actually NASDAQ is not as strong. NASDAQ is lagging here, which is a little bit concerning. We like to see NASDAQ as the higher beta index. It tends to lead. So when it's down more than the S&P, that means essentially it's underperforming, and that's usually not a good sign. So we'll watch that. Gold, really nice move. We covered that in the pre-market show, and it looks like it wants to kind of follow through again. So would have stopped out some Johnny-come-latelys. Some people FOMO'd in here, and they would have probably been tested for a few minutes into the open, and now we're retesting those highs in gold. Bitcoin, hello. Who's your Bitcoin? Who's your favorite crypto? Oh my days. Finally, this thing is woken up. It's been like, what's that? There's a nursery rhyme. Not a nursery rhyme. I think it is a nursery rhyme. It's it is a fairy tale. Sleeping Beauty. That's the one. Sleeping Beauty. So Sleeping Beauty is finally starting to wake up. Okay, so yeah, correlations looking good. Let's have a look here. US dollar came off very sharply after NFP, and this is why we like to follow these data points. You have to be aware of these. It's like going out to trade in a minefield and you know that the mines are going to be there if you know where to look. So NFP would have caused a big disturbance across all Forex peers, all dollar peers. And we, of course, we like the yen. That's one we've been talking about for a very long time. Finally getting some breakthroughs here. So we like the dollar yen on the short side. And this is just an example of it finally paying off. Crude moving higher. Not really too fussed about that. For all the bond traders in the group, 10-year treasury came off. The yield on the 10-year dropped pretty decisively after that non-farm payrolls as well. And we're still seeing a nice little holding up here on the S&P. That's what we like to see. Volume's still there more or less. That's beautiful. We actually hit last week's high. Thing of beauty. And they say this strategy doesn't work. Who says that? Who says that? No, seriously, who says that? All right, so upside targets for today, because we're going to wrap it up in about 15 minutes. Our HR department is very strict about the length of our videos, so we got to keep these videos 30 minutes or less. So if we get above the previous week's high, let's call it climb and maintain. So we climb and maintain above the previous week's high, which is just above where we are now, 75.30. Then the next stop is going to be the weekly expected move high. And then following that, we got a nice little Fibonacci very close to the May close. Above that, all-time high territory. So this is kind of like stop number one. Actually, let's use our pencil. We got some new crayons recently, so we might as well use them. So we broke out of the opening range high. So for those of you who are playing along at home, this is the 5-minute opening range. We've just had the entrance of the 15-minute opening range traders. They would have joined the up move here. And then we've cleared yesterday's high, which was there. That's good. And then the overnight high, which was hit during non-farm payrolls, that was hit. Last week's high, we looked at that. And we're just above that now. So we'll probably flirt with that for a bit, test it for a little while. Next one is the weekly expected high. So this comes out each and every Sunday. Options traders look at what's the expected move for the week. And the high for the week on Sunday night, which would have been, I guess, Monday morning over there in Australia, was around 75.41. The next stop is going to be this Fibonacci, followed by our May close. So where we finished the month of May 2026, 75.80. And then finally, maybe a little bit ambitious, maybe slightly, just a little ambitious for today, I would say. Maybe, we'll see. But we're looking at 76.20, spot 90 is the all-time high hit on Tuesday, the 2nd of June, 2026. So moving and grooving. This is a simple strategy. Very easy. Very simple to follow. When we're inside the opening range, what do we do, everyone? We do nothing. When we're above the opening range, we want to get long. If you trade futures, if you trade on a prop firm, you want to get long. If you trade options, you want to buy calls. If you do other option strategies, you want to have long upside exposure. If we move below the opening range, we want to get short. If you trade futures, you want to short S&P, ES, NASDAQ, NQ. If you trade options, you want to buy puts. That is the strategy in a nutshell. All right, we're going to look away for a bit. Let's see. Shout outs to our good friends at Macro Markets Group. Boys, Joseph and James. Very special shout outs to our friends over there at the Macro Markets Group. So big movers today. Looks like we have out of the top 100 companies in the S&P 500, we have 87% who are up. That's a good sign. And the losers is a very short list. Meta Platforms pulling back a little bit after that really good news yesterday. Talked about how they're finally going to be selling some AI compute to jump on this AI bandwagon. So we're getting a little bit of a reversal today. Tesla not doing great so far today. I say so far because we're only 20 minutes into the trading day. Idris Elba, saw a really good Idris Elba commercial for World Cup. That would have been a Salesforce commercial and had Idris Elba in it. Talking about World Cup, let's just put the scores up there for anybody who wants to get caught up. On the top side, performing better than expected, we have Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR, best performer in the top 100 S&P, up about 4.25%. Nike also doing well. We got out of Nike too early, but that happens. Yeah, we did do a little cheeky Nike trade. Looks like it's finally waking up. A little bit of slow play, a little bit of delayed reaction. Boeing doing well. Lockheed Martin doing well. So kind of defense names. Adobe finally waking up. Apple doing well. Oracle. Who else we got? We got some energy names down here. So we like to look at this as well, just to give us a broad stroke, little idea of what's going on. Look at that. See, whenever I look away, I'm telling you, I should just not look at it. Just not look at it. So approaching the weekly expected move high here, we could still see a little bit of a pullback. Remember, top of the hour, we do tend to get some liquidity. Let's see if we have any announcements here. No announcements on the docket. Yeah, nothing on the docket for top of the hour, so that's good. Has the S&P and the NASDAQ joined? So NASDAQ finally NASDAQ wants to join the party. It's nice to see the NASDAQ finally waking up. Gold is back above the high that we saw after NFP, and Bitcoin is looking like it wants to show off today. It's gonna say it's blind to you haters. Beautiful move in ES. S&P is doing its thing. Thank you everybody who is watching today. I think it's one of those days when you never know when the market's gonna move. Sometimes you find it very difficult. There are days where you don't get the breakout, or you get it after the second or third attempt, and those are the days when you're kind of like, does this strategy work? Is this for me? Those thoughts are natural. Those thoughts are normal. But I find like the days when you don't care, or you're not as worried or stressed, those are usually the days when you're having fun. Are the days when it actually does work really well. So that's it. I mean, I don't have, unless you guys have any questions, girls have any questions. We got a nice first attempt. Everybody goes for the first attempt, but the second attempt usually is the good one, and that was the case today. So number 2 has taken us all the way to the expected high for the week. We could pull back a little bit here, maybe retest last week's high one more time. Anybody who's FOMOing in here may need to get tested. We do have possibility that we get back down here towards the opening range high again. We could basically bounce off of that one more time as well. So scenarios, I guess, maybe we come back here and do another little move higher, and then that's the one that kind of takes us to where we finished off the month of May potentially. That's possible. Yeah, let's leave it there. I'm gonna have a quick look at the live chat, see how everybody's doing. Thanks to everybody who is kicking it with us today. It's been a good day. All right, so she is gone. Goners. Bye-bye. Hello now. Bye-bye then. Check you later. Yeah. So nice, clean. We like it when it's easy. Neil Gilliland. Learning. I'm still learning each and every day. I've been doing these. I worked it out. I've probably seen about 5 years of opening range breakouts. And let's say I traded 200. So yeah, I'd say about 1,000. I've seen about 1,000 of these bad boys. And after a while, you start seeing the patterns, and they start making more and more sense. But yeah, thanks Neil. Always about the learning, and I appreciate the feedback. We have Michael. My strategy is break and retest and continuation. Looks similar. Strategy. Yes, it does look very similar. Yeah, the break and retest is one of the classics. So we would call this the break. That'll be the break with a B. And then the retest of the opening range. We actually tested the 1 minute opening range high to a T. And then the continuation is kind of where we are now. It'd be nice if we can stay above the previous week's high. We'll take a trade if that is the case. But yeah, we were able to get a trade in before NFP. And we talked about that at length, and this is the trade that's basically continuing to run after the non-farm payrolls. Correlations one more time. So NASDAQ, some people call it the nasty NASDAQ, is underperforming or lagging. S&P is making new new highs of day is what I meant to say. Gold is looking good. I'm really liking gold here, and then Bitcoin as well, starting to show us some relative strength for today. That's it. That's it, everybody. If you don't have any questions for me, I'm going to wrap it up. HR is going to be pleased because this video is just about 30 minutes. I might be able to get away with this one. But thanks again. Appreciate everybody who has been watching and has joined us for today. It's Thursday, the 2nd of July, 2026. It's non-farm payrolls day. It's also the day before the 4th of July is observed over there in the US. And it's the 250th anniversary of independence. And sometimes, this is a reminder, sometimes you don't have to trade. I know the temptation is to put your finger on the trigger and press something. But that isn't always the case. Sometimes the best thing is to remember that cash is a position. And that's reminded to me all the time from my good friend Jalen. Cash is a position. Best performing sector looks like it's healthcare. If you want to play along at home, it's XLV or X-Ray Lima Victor. That's up 2% so far today. Technology is in third behind industrials. And then from the indexes, we have the Rusty Russell, best performer so far today, followed by the Dow Jones Industrial up about 0.7, 0.7. And then S&P, third place. And then lagging, bringing up the rear, the nasty NASDAQ. It's green today. Yesterday it was red all day. It's green today. So let's see. Let's see if NASDAQ can kind of make up some lost ground going into the close today. All right, that's it. That's it from us. For those of you who do currencies, remember Bitcoin's up a whopping 3% today, and British pound is also green for the day. In terms of currencies, Japanese yen is the one I think that is the one to watch. We talked about that last week, Thursday, with macro markets. Very own James DeGaris. So that's it for today. All right, we're staying above the previous week's high. So anybody in a trade, make sure that you're using caution and you are protecting those unrealized profits. All right, that's it from me, everybody. All right, I'm going to say wishing you all the very best today. Nothing but success. Remember, we're not in this alone. We are in this together. We trade together. We do not trade alone. We trade together. Shakai Witta saying that a good point. No trade is a good trade. Sometimes that's it. And the reason I say that is because when I take an expense, sometimes I'm going to love it if it's a tiny, teeny, wincy one. If it's an expense that I feel like I didn't need to take, that's going to impact my whole outlook, my confidence. And so it's better to keep your confidence intact and maintain that level of confidence sometimes. Not being in a trade is okay. And I think sometimes we just need that reminder. All right, everybody. That's it from me. Thank you very much for kicking it with us. And until next time, everybody, I'm going to say Have a wonderful day and happy trading.